Hello everyone, I'm here today with Associate Professor from Bond University, Peta Stapleton. I met this wonderful woman at Mind Heart Connect tapping conference last year, and I got so much out of her workshops. As a lot of you already know, I am a bit obsessed with tapping, and I found out through tapping, about tapping through Brad Yates. Hello.
Hello, Jess. Sorry, it completely froze. So I was just waiting for it to come back online.
Apologise for that. So take it away, Peter.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Jessie, for the invitation. And obviously, like you said, it was fabulous to meet up and hear, all about your story with Brad and all that kind of thing. So I guess today, for us, it's talking a little bit about how we can best support children and teens, as well as obviously parents ourselves. You and I are both parents. But just with this whole combination, I guess, of the tapping tool, but also the oils that, is your expertise. So it's such a nice combination too. So are you happy if I talk a little bit about what tapping is in case we've got any people that are unfamiliar?
Love it. And it's also good to have a refresher. Even if we've been tapping but not quite understanding, it's good to have some more clarity around it.
Yeah, fantastic. So tapping, the traditional name is EFT, or emotional freedom techniques. A lot of people kind of don't understand what that means. So tapping really describes what the action is. So what we do is we actually focus our mind on whatever our problem is, our distress, and we tap on acupuncture points. Some of them are on the face, top part of the body. I can walk through just what they are briefly in a minute. And ultimately what this technique does is it reduces the stress center in the brain. So it's a stress reduction tool. That's like as simple as it is, it reduces stress, and it works so quickly that even little kids as young as 4 or 5 can actually do this technique and have success, pretty immediate success. So maybe if I just walk through the points, and if we got listeners live or watching the replay, they can do this with us too, and we'll include some links in the YouTube description just so that they can watch other videos if they want to. But the first point that we actually tap on is the start of the eyebrow. So just with 2 fingers, little children normally use the waving hand that they wave with, and we just tap on the start of the eyebrow there. And what we normally say at this time is what's bothering us. So it's almost a bit counterintuitive sometimes, because we live in such a world of positive affirmations and trying to reframe how you think, that it feels weird sometimes to sort of say, I'm angry, I'm angry. But what it actually does is when we acknowledge it, it reduces the stress center of the brain, and ultimately the anger or whatever it is goes away. So first point, start of the eyebrow. Second point, just to walk through everyone, side of the eye. We would still be saying what it is we feel. Next one is directly under the eye there. Next one's under the nose. Next one we call chin. It's just on the crease there, chin point. Next one's about an inch under your collarbone. So just the end of your collarbone, just under there. That's right. Next one is directly under the armpit. it's about 4 inches under the armpit. And the last one that we use is the dead center of the head. So if anyone's familiar, sometimes people start with that point. It doesn't really matter whether you start there or you finish there. But ultimately what we're doing through this acupuncture tapping is we are sending a different signal to the brain, and we end up calmer, which means you can think more clearly. Obviously, you can make better choices, whatever it is that you're doing tapping on. So, yeah, I have never come across anything that works so rapidly in what I do.
Yeah, I absolutely love it because it's so effective. And like you said, anchoring the oils with the tapping is such a beautiful combination. So how would you introduce this to major well received by them?
Well, we talk different ages for a minute, maybe younger kids and then maybe the older teens. With younger kids, we have lots of different aids. So you might see here my Tappy Bear. So he's one of the original bears. We've got a relationship with Build-A-Bear in Australia now, so they make our Tappy Bears for us, and we have them available at workshops. So he's got like the points on him, like top of his head and under his arm, that kind of thing. So it's often a really good way to say to kids, especially if they're under the age of 10, hey, look, you know, I've got this bear friend, he's got these magic spots on him, and if we tap on them, and we tap on them on ourselves as well as the bear, we feel better. And often little kids just take it as you say it, you know, they don't actually question it. They can find the point on the bear, then find it on themselves, and obviously use things like Tappy Bear. Even my older kids still love the bear. We've got fantastic books. So there's Brad's. So we talked about Brad Yates. So that's the Wizard Witch. We've got other ones in Australia that are, you know, the points for little kids. And of course, Alex Ortner's Gorilla Thumps and Bear Hugs, who is Nick Ortner's The Tapping Solutions brother. All those kind of books are story and rhymes designed to teach kids the tapping technique, but through a story that they can relate to. So obviously it's pretty easy. I think the younger they are, the better, because they take to it like a duck to water. They tap for a couple of seconds, run out the door, the mood's lifted, everything's, you know, it just doesn't take the length of time that it does for adults. Older teens, obviously a little bit different, and I have a 15-year-old daughter in my household, so I know what the hormones are like. There are books specifically for teenagers, so that's just one there, EFT for Teens, that's just designed for stories relevant to their age and their issues like bullying, friendship stuff, jealousy, academic achievement, sporting performance, whatever, parents fighting. So all relevant for them.
And that's your, Peter, the EFT for Teens?
Yes. Say that again, Jess.
That's your book that you wrote.
Yeah, so that one came out last year, and it's a Kindle, so teens can read it on an iPad, or they can actually get a hard copy of that one. And I got my 14-year-old at the time to consult to make sure I'd covered all the, it's been a long time since I was 14, you know, cover all the areas that were relevant. So it's really good. The feedback's been great, just because a teen could read it privately in their own bedroom and do it on themselves, because, you know, it seems a bit weird for a teen when they think about tapping on themselves, but they can learn it privately and give it a go, get the outcomes, and if they want to, then look at stuff online. So it's such a fantastic tool that we've ended up teaching it to teachers in classrooms around the world now, because can you just imagine, you know, when kids learn a strategy like this, what they'll be like when they grow up to be adults? Like, I just think what a different world we'll have.
So amazing. And if people want to get the bears and stuff for their younger kids, are they available if they don't live near you or attend a workshop? Can they get them anywhere?
Yes. So if anyone goes to our website, which we'll put in the YouTube links, evidencebasedeft.com, we have got Morgan the Tapping Bear there, so we can post internationally, and he comes with a downloadable instruction book and a letter to every child. So Morgan has written a letter to the child saying they can change his name and what he's there to help them with. So we'll put the link there, but absolutely. Build-A-Bear have been fantastic to help us out with the points, putting the points on the bears.
Evidence-based EFT, was that the website?
Yeah, evidencebasedeft.com. Yep.
Fabulous. And I know you can get Brad's book, The Wizard's Wish. He gave that to me for my children.
Yes. Yeah.
You can get that from So is there anything else that you would like to talk about in terms of how to support children and teens specifically for helping them regulate their emotions?
Yeah, I think, you know, what really has stood out to me at being a mum, so my girls are 11 and 15, but I've been doing this now for about 18 years, so well before they were even born, tapping was in my life. So they grew up seeing a mum do tapping, and I do think that that's a little kind of sneaky way to start to introduce the idea in a family. Is I used to walk around the house doing my own tapping, and they would then go, "What are you doing, mum?" Like when they were old enough. And then I was able to tell them that I didn't hide away and do tapping on whatever I was, you know, tapping on at the time without anyone knowing. So I do think, you know, for any parents out there that do it themselves but haven't introduced it yet to their children themselves, feel free to kind of, you know, do it out in the home so that it becomes like the natural way to kind of change feelings and cope. So there's one thing that I did was at least sort of do it. Now my girls are old enough that they actually say, "Are you tapping on me, mum?" And I go, no, it's just your father, you know. So it's become easier then that when they're distressed or they come home and I say, "Oh, how was your day? Oh, do you want to do some tapping on that?" You know, they can say yes or no, but it's just become a go-to kind of tool that we can use. And we have oils as well, you know, as well as some other bits and pieces. But I think, yeah, it's, if some parents out there listening have never come across this and want to explore it more, we just sort of say, what have you got to lose? You know, it's self-applied, which is so much better, even that you don't need someone necessarily. You don't have to go off and book sessions if you don't want to. You can learn, and especially little ones can do it at home with their bear or their books. So, yeah, and I love the addition. I can't wait for you to talk a little bit more about the oils, because I know a lot of people that put the oils on their fingertips when they tap. So they actually, use the oils, and I just think the combination is such a beautiful balance for mind and spirit, isn't it?
Combination is beautiful. So for example, like bergamot is the oil of self-acceptance. I was lucky enough to just be in Italy, down the bottom part of Italy, where we actually source this essential oil. Yeah. You can tell me it is pronounced bergamotto, and if you're speaking in English, it's bergamot.
Oh, see, we don't say that. Oh.
So that's actually how you pronounce it. But if, say, for example, if you were doing a tapping round on self-worth or self-love or self-acceptance, because emotionally this is the all of self-acceptance, before you start tapping, you could take a drop or two in your hands, rub that together and breathe it in. And put it on your finger, rub my hand where the oil already is, and then start tapping on self-worth, self-love, self-acceptance. So that's a great way to start. And Peter, my children are a bit younger. I actually have two boys, Dominic and Ned, 4 and 8. And I find that I'll be tapping on my stuff. They'll just start tapping on me, which is a really cool way to introduce them as well. So obviously the Wizard's Wish has been helpful. I haven't got a bear for them, so we'll look into that as well.
Yeah, we'll get you a bear.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they'll love that, especially my little one. He loves bears. Some of the other oils that I like to use with children, and also actually with teenagers, this one especially, I actually send my eldest son Dominic, to school with this. It's called the In Tune Focus Blend, and it's in a roller, so it's really, really handy for kids to use. My son Dominic really struggled when he went to prep, because they wanted him to sit still and focus, and obviously as a young boy he wanted to run around and stuff, which I actually wanted to support him to do. Like, he should be. I have some issues with the school system, wanting kids to sit school and study that young. I think it should be more play-based learning, and I wish we still had preschool, but that's a whole nother rant for another day.
We'll save that. Yep.
I sent him to school with the In Tune Focus Blend because he was getting sent up to the principal's office constantly and just constantly in trouble. And as soon as he started using this daily and consistently through the day, I wasn't getting calls from the school that he's at the principal's office and making less than ideal choices. He was making better choices. He was able to focus for longer. He was able to, just get more grounded. And I use this a lot as well for myself because my head is, I have high functioning Aspergers. I have ADHD issues. And obviously this isn't a cure or anything like that, but it actually helps me just get grounded and focus and be able to complete one task rather than having 500 tabs open on my computer and like a multitude of things happening in my brain because I struggled to learn auditory. I learn better by reading. So if I'm at a conference or I'm in a classroom, after about half an hour, I struggle to even understand English. It actually does not sound like English to me anymore. I struggle to process the words. But if I then get my in-tune focus blend out and I roll it on the back of my neck is the most simple place for this, and on my wrist, I'm actually able to process and understand auditory for a much longer period of time than I would be able to without the blend. So it's pretty incredible.
That's fantastic. I think every school classroom could do with a bottle of that, couldn't they?
Absolutely. It's so helpful. So the other one that I really have loved for a number of years now is the Peace Blend. And you may have seen this around on the internet, Peaceful Child Blend, and doTERRA actually worked with that to then create a very similar blend. So it has vetiver in it, which is extremely grounding. Very, very. So if you've got what is relevant for that as well, that tends to get up in their head and be quite hyped. Vetiver can be extremely grounding and calming for that. It also has lavender ylang ylang, which is the oil of the inner child, actually. So it just helps come back to that place. And frankincense, which is also fantastic for calming, for nervous system, for grounding, but also connecting. And clary sage, which is the oil of clarity and vision. Marjoram, labdanum, and spearmint, which is actually the oil of confident speech.
Yeah.
So you can put that, I actually put it right here on my heart chakra on my chest. When I get really anxious, that's where I tighten up and feel like almost can't breathe and clenched, my throat clenches, to that kind of panic. I actually just put it right on my heart chakra and then I tap at the same time. I remember I was having to fly to LA and then Arizona, and I knew I was landing at 1 a.m. and I had to have a private driver pick me up and drive me an hour and a half on my own flying internationally. And as I mentioned, I have high functioning Aspergers. I get really anxious and I did not want to go. Like I was having a massive meltdown, autistic meltdown in the car on the way to the airport in Brisbane. Like I was not getting on that plane.
Got on.
So I put the piece on my heart chakra and I started to do my tapping, and I tapped for the whole hour drive to the airport. Fully calmed down enough to get on the plane, get processed, get to this conference, which I really wanted to go to, but I really didn't want to do the travel and to get on the planes and be around the humans and get there. So, like I've been at conferences where there's a lot of sensory overload. So lights, humans, I call them.
Yes, humans.
Stuff going on, and I'm trying to auditory process, and generally I had meltdowns. It's got less and less worse over the years because I've asked people to not hug me because that was overwhelming, having 500 people hug me at a conference on top of everything else. And so I started using the peace again on my heart chakra and balance, which I'll talk about in a minute, and tapping. I haven't had a panic attack at the last 2 conferences or a meltdown that I've been to. So
there's the evidence, isn't it? That's fantastic. As that really regulates that whole somatic system, doesn't it?
Totally. It's been really, really helpful for me. So then the other one that I really find extremely helpful for anyone of any age, this is such a gentle, it's balanced.
I actually personally love that one. So I have a bottle of that here.
It's just like if some kids, like me, for example, I'm not a child, but I find really, for one sense, quite overwhelming to my senses. Like I can't stand perfume. I can't stand ambient air freshness. If I walk into a bathroom, it's down for me. But balance is such a gentle smell that is not offensive or overpowering in any way. It's actually a blend of, it's diluted in fractionated coconut as well. So you can use it straight on the skin. It's really safe for all ages. It's got spruce, hoewood, frankincense, blue tansy, which is why it's that darker kind of color. Blue tansy colors in it. And it's got blue chamomile as well, so more blue, and osmanthus in it. This one is just so
grounding.
I actually put this on the soles of my feet because that way I'm even more grounded. It's going on the soles of my feet, and then I put it behind my neck and actually down my spine, all the way down my spine. And then you can use this on your wrist as well. And instead of just doing this when I'm having a meltdown or after, I do it every morning and every evening, and then in the day as I need to, because that way I'm just a lot less likely to go into that full on panic phase.
Yeah.
So,
wow, that's excellent. I do love the balance. It's very nice.
I know, it's such a beautiful smell. Like, it's instead of using synthetic endocrine disrupting toxic perfume and cologne and stuff, why not just use smells that have no negative effects, even if you don't react? Like, think about the other people in your environment that might really react to that and respond to that. So instead of doing that, why not use something that's safe for you, and that's actually going to provide you emotionally supportive properties at the same time throughout the day. Like, just support yourself from the beginning, and just do it every single day, and on your kids as well. Just have it as a habit. You brush your teeth, you put on your balance, you do your tap.
Yep, that's right. That's it. You just set yourself up for the whole day then. Yeah.
It's so much better. And then I did want to talk briefly about juniper berry, because I have struggled with night terrors and nightmares my entire life. I remember as a very young child, I would dream about witches like brewing me in a potion, and really quite violent, disturbing nightmares for a young kid. And I wish I had this on hand, because all through my childhood, my teens, and early adult, there was nothing I could do to stop having these nightmares. So I ended up not sleeping a lot because I was afraid to sleep, because I knew I would have nightmares. But juniper berry actually helps with night terrors and nightmares. So I actually put a few drops of this directly on my pillow. I also diffuse it beside my bed. I have a little diffuser that's safe for kids, because it's cold steam, there's no heat, they can't burn themselves. And once the water runs out, it just turns off. So it's totally safe. Put a few drops in the diffuser, diffuse it beside my bed. I have no nightmares and night terrors. It is absolutely
that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
And it helps me go to sleep as well, and actually stay asleep instead of waking up early. And then one other oil I wanted to touch on this webinar is actually one of our new oils, copaiba, or I think some people pronounce it copaiba or something.
You know, I wondered how you pronounce that, Jessie. Say it again. Tell me how you pronounce it.
The proper way is actually copaiba. Copaiba.
Copaiba. Okay, yeah, because it's a tricky one. Yeah, it's brilliant though, isn't it? Like, I've actually just got myself a bottle of it, but
phenomenal. It has 4 different species of the copaiba in it for maximum effect. It's actually sourced from the Amazon in Brazil. This one is absolutely incredible, because it directly interacts with our CB2 receptors. So it doesn't give us a high. It's not illegal or anything, so we don't have to worry about drug tests or THC or anything like that. But it directly interacts with the CB2 receptors, which help us just calm down. So the balance and peace I find fantastic, but I find this almost makes me feel like I assume what a normal person
feels like
balanced, and my nervous system isn't in like overdrive with stuff going on. So the way I actually choose to use this, as I take a drop under the tongue, because sublingually take it, and then it goes directly into your bloodstream. And our oils are beyond food grade. So that's how I choose to use it. If you don't want to use it internally, of course, just on the wrist, on the neck, in the diffuser, it's fantastic. My partner actually uses a vaporizer or an e-cigarette and diffuses that. Obviously, this is not for kids and teenagers. Managed to quit smoking by vaporizing fiber, which is because it balances his nervous system out and gives him the same thing he was looking for with smoking.
Cigarettes.
So right. Very low heat. But anyway, they're the oils that I wanted to cover, and all of those can be used in conjunction with tapping and EFT.
Absolutely. And I think, like we've been saying, the combination of anything that helps with the calming down of that somatic system, not only for little ones, teenagers, but parents themselves. It just, starts from the top down too, doesn't it? That if we're calmer, the household's calmer, and we haven't got that kind of, and it's such a gift, I think, for all our listeners out there to learn these tools so that they can use them themselves and share them.
I think it's just amazing how much more receptive I am able to be with my children when we're all using these tools in the home every day. Like, I'm just able to respond differently. I'm able to be more present, and just the way I'm able to show up in terms of working and attending various things. It's a lot less stressful for me, and then, like you said, a lot less stressful for my household, because I don't have a mother who is losing the plot. I think it's challenging. I mean, we lose the plot from time to time, but then we can have those tools to start tapping and using oils to support that as well. It's just, yeah, everyone's a lot more chilled out, and it's just a nice vibe, and it smells good without having that synthetic smell.
Literally everyone that walks through the door often, and I have them in my office at work too, so I have a diffuser at work, and because we're not allowed to open flames or anything anyway, but the diffusers are fine, and people walk in and go, what's that smell? Like, we even have the neighbours' children come over and stand. I find them hovering over the diffuser, and it's just because they've never come across anything like this in their lives, and they're drawn to it, and they stand there inhaling it. So it's great.
Like to diffuse in a workplace?
Say that again, Jessie.
What do you like to diffuse in a workplace?
Yeah, I have a range of, like, peace. I have, like you said, I think sometimes it's a bit what you feel like yourself in the morning. So I really like a couple of combinations. So I quite like the lemon, lavender, peppermint. So I tend to get a bit sensitive. I don't have hay fever, but I get a bit sensitive with the weather. So my nose will sort of, and I just find that will absolutely knock it. I don't take any medications or anything, but that combination will actually stop my nose running. The air conditioning at work's often really cold, so trying to get that drippy nose, those kind of things. I've got Smart and Sassy, so that's one of the doTERRA blends, and I've actually had that going here. I'm in my home office today, but I've had that going this morning here. So yeah, and the neighbours have already come over, and they kind of wander past and ask what the smell is. So yeah, I'm forever looking up on Pinterest combinations. So I'm one of the Pinterest kind of mothers at night, where I'm looking up, oh, what can I blend together? So you'll have to give me your top ones as well, because I think
peppermint and lemon is actually a really great combination for studying or for focus.
Maybe that's why it helps me in my office.
Yeah,
I didn't know
that.
It
is as well. Another one that I love is actually rosemary for memory retention.
Yes.
If you learn something, you can diffuse or smell rosemary.
Yeah.
Take your bottle of rosemary into a test with you. It's a really actually smell it, and it will help you remember what you learned, so you can write it down.
Tell that to my students. I'll get them to. I mean, they already sit there and tap. It's funny. Only my students in this whole sports hall are tapping, but they remember. So I'll tell them to do the rosemary at the same time.
Yeah, because our sense of smell is our fastest track down memory lane. So smelling that bottle of rosemary is going to take them back to what they were learning when they smelt it that other time. It's actually brilliant. Like that's how emotional aromatherapy works. I always thought, how does smelling something have any real effects? It's ridiculous. But it actually enters the olfactory system, which enters the limbic system, which is the emotional center of our brain, and has an instant effect. That's why it is just like, oh, smelly stuff, whatever, it doesn't work.
Absolutely. We have a local pain program. I know we're talking about kids and teens today, but local pain program here on the Gold Coast, and they not only include tapping for chronic pain, but they include aromatherapy, and they include oils. So it's finding its way into health areas and mainstream kind of areas, not the combination, which that's so exciting for us, I guess, sitting in our kind of little conservative worlds, that these national pain programs are using aromatherapy, essential oils, and tapping.
That is just brilliant. I love hearing about that. Peta, can you share a bit of the statistics with me around the research you've done and the effect that you found on cortisol when you use tapping and EFT? Because I just found that fascinating.
Yeah, so it has the biggest impact on the stress hormone cortisol that you just mentioned. So tapping has been tested. You can test cortisol through saliva. And I might let everyone know that if you're local, we're running a cortisol EFT trial in August at the university. So that's free of charge. People can come along. I'll tell you about that in a moment. So what researchers have done is they've tested people's saliva. So you can chew just like a little wad of cotton wool, and we test that. And then they do an hour of tapping. But what they did was compare an hour of tapping for stress to an hour of just learning information about stress, like psychoeducation, and an hour of resting. So a lot of people think if I just rest, my stress levels might go down. Now, in the information group and the reading rest group, their cortisol dropped by 14%. So there was a little reduction, but not a lot, like over that hour. But the tapping group got a reduction of 25%. So it way outweighed, and that was statistically significant just in terms of our language. But it really told a story that it's far better to do tapping when you feel stressed than it is to go and have a sleep. So a lot of people think, oh, if I just go and take some time out, self-care, have a sleep, your cortisol level actually doesn't change, your stress levels. So we're going to replicate that trial at Bond University on the Gold Coast in August. So on a single Tuesday in August, we can take about 300 people. So we'll be putting the link up soon for people to register. You do have to attend in person, so anyone that's local. And you'll get one of those conditions. We'll test your stress. We'll tell you how it goes. And we'll give people the experience, obviously, of learning to do tapping for stress.
That is just brilliant. It's such a powerful tool. And I guess because having a rest doesn't do anything to energetically shift what's going on for you. Like when you wake up from your sleep or stop reading your book, you've still got that stuff and you haven't energetically shifted it. So actually dealing with the problem, acknowledging what's going on for you and coming to that place energetically is so.
And as we talk, Jess, I'm thinking even maybe like down the track, we'll do this trial in August. Wouldn't it be great if we had a fourth condition where it was aromatherapy and we gave them just an hour of experiencing oils and tested their cortisol? So maybe we might be able to do that down the track too, where we can actually see the comparison then of adding in that and what that does to the body system, because I think we would actually see similar outcomes to the tapping.
I think so. That'd be fantastic. I love learning more about clinical research, and I love that doTERRA makes such an effort to partner with mainstream medicine and actually bring essential oils and aromatherapy to the mainstream and get that clinical research happening. So the more research we can be involved with and the more results. That's very exciting to talk more about that. And Peter and I have been talking about actually creating a program together in August as well, that is all about supporting kids and teenagers with different challenges. So today we've talked a little bit about emotionally self-regulating, but we wanted to go deeper into how you can support them with various challenges. So do you want to talk a bit more about your vision with that, Peter, as well?
Yeah, we definitely think, there's such a wide range of areas we could really help parents with. So, definitely just self-regulation with some of those strong emotions like worry and anxiousness, even things like anger. So our vision, I guess, that you and I have started to talk about is that we do end up with this program that parents can learn how to support their children and teens. But even some of the bigger issues, like what we're talking about, like the effects of bullying that are on a child, or I think the opposite as well. What if your child is the bully? Like, how can you support your child in working out why they have that need? So I'm always somebody that advocates to help the child that does do the bullying as well. So I think tapping in those areas, as well as, for teenagers, some of those bigger issues like perfectionism. So, I mean, my classic clinical area has been eating disorders for years. So I've worked with a lot of young girls that have had serious eating disorders. So perfectionism and anxiousness and worry, goal setting, what am I going to do with my life? Everyone thinks I should know by the time I leave school what I'm going to do with my life. Tapping can be used in all those areas too. So I guess that, and the third area there is really how parents can use it. How can they use it for their own personal relationships in life, not just with their kids, but their partners, maybe workspaces. How can parents use this as well? So, yeah, we've started brainstorming already. So I know that we'll probably come up with lots more ideas, but I think that's something that is missing out there.
I think I'm really excited about it. I think it's just going to be a fantastic, easily accessible resource that's going to help support a lot of people, the parents and the teenagers, as well as younger children, deal with these bigger issues where normally it can be brushed under the carpet or too difficult, or, you start talking about medication and counselling, and, I've tried all of those things in my youth with little effect and struggled to find tools to support myself that I thankfully have now. So I think where you can just use natural, simple things that people can do at home, why not start there and work with that initially? Open the conversation up rather than it being it's kind of that's just how things are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to bring that to the forefront and have tools available to people.
Yeah.
So we talked about where you can get the Build-A-Bear and the books and stuff and resources. So also, if you don't yet have amazing essential oils in your life, you can open up a wholesale account. We both have wholesale accounts, and you can get them drop shipped straight to your door. So Peta is literally just opened hers, so I haven't showed her how to help set people up though yet, which I will.
Yeah.
If you find out about this webinar through Peta, you can still message me, and I'll make sure that you get placed in Peta's team. Or if you found out about them through me or anyone else, if someone else sent you this webinar, please go back to them, and they'll be able to help you set up your wholesale account. But if you are wanting to have these oils in your life to support yourself and support your kids and teenagers, definitely reach out to me, and I can help you that set up. It's super, super easy. And then you'll just be able to order whenever you want and get them drop shipped to your door at wholesale prices, which is fantastic to have these on hand for you.
Yeah. Perfect. That's cool.
And anything else?
No, just that we'll definitely give all our listeners access to some of those videos of a little bit more about how to actually do the tapping, how to do it for something just like stress. So we've got videos specifically for those, so we'll make those freely available. And we have got a couple of, like the first chapter of EFT for teens, we might give that to everyone for free as well. So I'll send a direct link that we can show some of those kind of resources too. So if anyone's interested to explore a bit more.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for jumping on with us today, Peta. I really appreciate it. We'll jump off here, and I'll get Peta to email her stuff, and then I'll put an email together. Everyone that's registered from this webinar, just look out for Jessie Reimers in your inbox, and you'll have all the resources that we've just spoken about here. So otherwise, if anything's missing, email me at info@getafreshstart.com.au, and I can get you sorted out. Thanks so much for jumping on and watching.
Thanks so much, Jessie.
Thanks, Peta. Bye, everybody.
Bye.